He as well served in the United States Army and was injured in an IED attack in Iraq in 2006. We came to meet Andy through the Wounded Warriors Project and the Magee Rehabilitation Center that is located in our area. There's other people that we hope to invite to a few future events from that, because we know that there's a preponderance and a large number of our employees who are military veterans, and also those of us who appreciate their efforts. So this morning we welcome Andy, who has a presentation about his service and his time in Iraq as well. So we welcome you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me. I was in the Marine Corps. You know, this past week there's been tons of specials about 9/11 and documentaries and stuff like that. I've been watching with my wife Sarah, and she gets, I mean, she's my wife, and she's pregnant, so she gets emotional. But I mean, everybody does. Everybody does when it comes to 9/11, and so we're watching these shows, and she's looking at me, and she's, well, what do you think about that? Or she asked me about my experience on 9/11. Personally, I joined the Marine Corps and went to boot camp in July. So when September 11th happened, I was in the middle of my basic training, and we were during Team Week, which is like if any of you served, it's KP duty basically. Like we take a week and all the recruits, they either go clean stuff or they work in the kitchen. It's kind of like a downtime week for the recruits. So I was working at the and I remember one of the Marines came and gathered us all up and took us to this conference room where it was on TV, and we sat there. And of course, you're a recruit, so you don't think, you don't feel, you just sit there. I don't remember any of the reactions of any of the Marines there, or the recruits or anything like that. You know, it's kind of like foggy, that memory for me. And then, you know, I finished basic training, and after 9/11, while I was in basic training, I got a lot more letters after 9/11, and news clippings and pictures, but it wasn't like as real for me as maybe it was for people that weren't, you know, in that situation, maybe people that could observe it when more like, I don't know, tangible, you know, perspective. After boot camp, you know, I noticed that the country is more patriotic, more supportive of the troops, but at the same time, I just got left boot camp, so I was already, you know, gung-ho and excited anyway. But that imagery really resonates with people. We saw all the videos today, and it's important to remember, you know, the people that lost their lives. So, and then just to tell you my personal experience, I guess, in June of 2006, I was deployed with the Infantry Battalion as a human intelligence collector. And there was an IED cell that was really blowing some trucks up in our neighborhood. Our job was basically find them, figure out how to stop them, or arrest them, things like that. So I went out on a convoy with the sole purpose of collecting information that would lead to that. Quite ironically, the convoy was attacked by the same IED cell that I was investigating. The front half of my MumVee was torn off. 3 Marines died that I only met that morning. I mean, met, we probably even, you know, exchanged words. I don't remember any of it at all. I remember that morning, but that's it. Spent a lot of time rehabbing, 7 months. And then even after that, you know, continued to rehab. Just learning how to live with my injuries. guys and what they sacrificed, and that the fact that they can't go to school, the fact that they can't, you know, run a 10K or marathon, really helps me to kind of refocus and be motivated to, you know, to do things, to live life to the fullest, to be productive and give back to, you know, my community, my country. As far as from a wounded warrior standpoint, I definitely appreciate the steps that the federal government and the FBI had, the Wounded Warrior Initiative. You know, we go from getting outdoors and arresting bad guys, and then our bodies get messed up. And it's an interesting thing, you know, like you're a tough Marine, you know, one day, and then the next day your body isn't what it used to be, you know, and that's, for a guy, it's, I don't know, it's like a fucking deal, but I had several conversations with my wife about it, and it's not a good feeling. So for an organization like the FBI to focus on bringing those veterans into the fold where they can really be productive again in that aspect, you know, I think it's a really great thing. I just want to say I appreciate the efforts that you all are making. I also appreciate all the work you guys have done to make sure that we're safe here at